And welcome back to another episode of Ahfur Podsake with myself, Declan, and my co-host Stephen. So, as you've probably seen over the last couple of weeks, we have been covering serial killers, and we are obviously looking at true crime and things like that. So it's just really a case of moving on with some stuff and focusing mainly when it comes to what we're going to be doing moving forward. So in line with the true crime stuff, as I've said previously, we're not going to be becoming a true crime podcast. We are just going to cover some things. So we're not just going to cover serial killers either. We're going to cover some other true crime things, be that in Scotland or be that a little bit wider whenever you open up to England, Wales, Ireland, things like that. We'll discuss some things. So, like some stuff that I've been looking into myself when it comes to that's very close to home here is stuff like the ice cream wars. We can get into that. Will be another longer discussion because there's a lot that goes into that.
100%. Right.
Yeah, it was a dark time in a place not far from here, but still, it's far enough away. That's all I care about. But anything that you're thinking about?
No, actually, Ice Cream Wars is a really good one to pick up on, to be fair, man. Could also talk about the stabbing epidemic in Scotland. Obviously, they made it an epidemic in 2005, but it was the stab capital of Europe for quite a long time, so that could be quite good to talk about that kind of stuff. I can remember being in school and having remember the Polish used to come in and talk to you about all these kind of things, man. There was I don't know where it was, to be honest.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about with that, man. Because
the samurai.
Anytime they came in with it, there was just a group of people in my school that just looked at me like I want one of them. It wasn't like, this is bad. It was, I want one.
See, to be fair though, when you see the kind of things that we get, not that you would want to go and use it, but have you not got samurais in the house and all that?
I've got 3 samurai blades in my house.
Obviously you would never.
They're all decorative.
Before anybody gets worried, the fact that we're talking about serial killers and true crime and fucking he's sitting there with a couple of samurais. Nah.
They've only been used to cut one thing, and it was a pumpkin. And that was it. But even at that, I don't think they can do that now because, like, you hold it up and it starts shaking. So
a bit gummed.
Happens when you get older. Right, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's quite alright, mate. Quite alright. But I think the knife epidemic one in Scotland's definitely been a good one to pick up on if we're doing events in Scotland that have been quite chilling. And I've used that word a couple of times, but it'd be interesting to get into a bit more detail on that one, to be fair.
It's cold country, mate.
That is, to be fair, man, it is. And obviously the ice cream wars happened in Easterhouse, and again, we'll not get into too much detail, but there was people buried in Coatbridge who fell victim to that as well, which is quite interesting, to be fair. So,
yep, there's
a bit close to home.
A couple of like disappearances and things like that. Not to the scale of like Madeleine McCann or anything like that, but I just shouldn't laugh at that.
No, I get you in that one. It's not funny, but
there's one for, I think it's like the 40s or the 50s, wee lassie that went missing in like Kirkwood. So it was like something in Coatbridge.
That
you know
was,
who I'm talking about, don't
that
you?
Was fucking, do you call her face?
I don't know, that's why it's...
No, Myra Hindley.
Myra Hindley, for fuck's sake.
Fucking Myra Hindley. I know who you're talking about. Can't remember her name, but I know who you're talking about.
More on that when we actually do this.
We'll come back with more information, factual information on that, to be fair.
Yeah, and then, as I said, we're going to be focusing on Scottish stuff when it comes to that, but we will probably cover some of the big ones, like someone that he just mentioned in Myra Hindley, so we might discuss the Mayor's murders.
Yeah, because I was going to say she's Scottish.
But the thing was it Huntley was Scottish?
Could be right, mate. No idea, I would need to check it.
Huntley, what am I saying Huntley for? It's not Huntley, it's Brady.
Brady, he was Scottish. He was definitely Scottish.
Peter Brady's the Invisible Man. Fuck's sake.
Ian Brady.
Ian Brady.
Fuck knows.
Peter Brady is the Invisible Man. Ian Brady, he's either Scottish or he's of Scottish descent. But
I'm sure he's Scottish.
He's fucking nothing now, he's scum. But we won't get into that just now. That's something that we could discuss maybe later on. We'll see what people want. And with that, obviously, as I was saying, the true crime stuff, we can go into the other stuff as well. Obviously, when it came to things like the ice cream wars, there was still kills, deaths. That's the word I'm looking for. There's been a murder. But anyway, genuinely the only 3 words in English language that Scottish people put a Scottish accent on to say, there's been a murder. There's fucking 4 of them. Fuck. Oh, my head's up my arse today. Can't tell, can you? But anyway, Aye, so we're going to be moving on to other stuff. We're looking at that. We're going to open things up to people, see what people think, see any feedback that you've got. I know we ask for it all the fucking time, but still,
The
anything
more
that
the
you
better.
think,
The more
yeah.
the better.
See, the thing is, we don't really get it in the comments a lot. I have been getting a lot of messages. I've got a few things from some other people as well that I know personally that have given us some feedback, positive and negative. The main one being the fucking audio for the Christmas one, which I'm sick of fucking answering. But still, we've got that. We know what's happening with that. Everything's sorted to an extent. As I was saying previously, we are going to be looking at interviews and things like that. So our plan, whether it works out like this or not, is going to be for us to have 2 true crime ones per month, 2 normal podcasts per month, and see how it progresses for there. Now, it's not to say that it's definitely going to go that way because it's an evolving thing. We are open to change. We're not going to say that we're going to focus on that and that's the be all and end all. But it's kind of like the bare bones of the skeleton that we need for the body of this thing. Moving on. But aye, that's kind of the plan moving forward. Hopefully, we can keep up with it, especially how we're going to be recording moving forward. It'll free up a lot more time, and yeah,
Get a lot more done, I think, to be fair. A lot more planning will go into it just to make sure that things are all set out. Obviously, we're still just a start-up because we've been going for a wee while now, but still getting used to things. So
the last
definitely
couple,
feedback's important.
The ones we were doing beforehand were just really us finding our feet with things.
Getting used to the camera.
We've got a lane, yeah. We've got a lane for some stuff now, so we can kind of go down that. And then, as I say, in the next 3, maybe 4 months, I'm aiming for 3 because I don't want to be harping on for too long at the same thing. We can then move on to something else, and we'll come back to this round about this time next year if we're still alive. But apart from that, it's just going to be a case of just going with the flow, see what happens. Said beforehand, we're open to things like the conspiracy theories and that. If we do it for the 3 months, just been working it out, it's going to be a case of serial killers and true crime for around about 3 months, so 6 episodes of that. But really, a little bit more because we'll be discussing things on like our monthly catch ups with like the sport and things like that. Yep. And besides that, we're going to be looking at maybe like ghost stories and things like that, moving up to like Halloween period, and then the best time of the year, Christmas. But still, whenever it comes to Christmas time, we'll be on into a little bit more of a happy-go-lucky state that doesn't really suit me.
Suits me, sorry.
Yeah, it suits half a head, so that's all that matters. But yeah, all good, and we are just going to focus on some light entertainment for this one. So, for instance, as we've been focusing on Scotland and things like that, Stephen has some of his interesting facts.
I certainly do. I know I done Scotland the last time, so if I have covered any that I've covered the last time, please tell me, because I don't like to be doing that all the time. But I've got a couple of new ones that I find interesting. Again, I'm not getting into too much detail about them, but we'll get a bit of information, so it'll be quite good to just go through it. So a couple of ones that are probably a lot more well-known, ones that aren't, ones that I just came to like today. So Scotland's one of the biggest productions is Iron Brew. Obviously, it's not unwell known, obviously, but I mean, it is. I've got a bottle sitting in my bag earlier now, to be fair. I've always got one when I'm sitting on here. But I found it quite interesting, the fact that that outsells Cola and Pepsi. I didn't actually know that. Genuinely did not know that at all. I know Mr. Know-It-All here did, but I'm sitting there like, does it?
It's one of the things that people hit out with whenever they talk about Scotland. That's the only reason.
I've never heard it before, to be fair. Genuinely not, because obviously we're talking about it being banned in the US. So the US banned it originally, and then they had to change. No, so I was reading about it. So they can produce it, but they've had to change a couple of their ingredients to suit the nutrition and fucking whatever it is that goes through it. So
there's no iron girders.
It's no real Iron Brew. Basically, it's no real Iron Brew. It's an adaptation, American adaptation of Iron Brew.
It's a shite.
But I
know we had it when I was in Florida and it was fucking vile, but I don't like Iron Brew. So
I don't think it travels. Well, I'm saying I don't think it travels well. Obviously, if I produced it,
is it fucking Guinness?
I know. I was going to say man. But on Iron Brew, another couple of interesting ones on that. So Iron Brew is licensed by Russia, Russia Brown Company. I know, that's a bit fucking nuts, man. That's why Scotland are getting too involved with the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Stealing my
Don't
fucking
worry,
joke earlier, for fuck's sake.
You did give me that one, to be fair, man. You did give me that one. But I thought that was quite cool. Another couple of wee bits and bobs America-wise. So Buick, the motor company, was produced by a Scottish man, Buick. So it's it's a big company in America, aye. There's a video with Kanye West and Otto, is it? Can't remember the name of it, and the Buicks are like a couple of $100,000 motors, man, and they're fucking tearing this thing apart in the music video. It's obviously quite expensive, they've got money to throw about, but as a Scottish person, you get a wee bit offended that they're destroying fucking Scottish stuff. Do you know? I'm kidding, I'm joking when I'm saying that, but
I just don't my thing.
Nah. Another one as well, it's probably a lot more well known, is the fact that GTA was developed
Grand
in
Theft
Scotland.
Auto, for those who don't know.
Grand Theft Auto, that's right. So the company was originally called DMA Designs.
You've been playing too much COD, mate.
But yeah, that was quite good. A couple of Scottish inventions. So the refrigerator. It's a cold country. Somebody's come up with a good idea to box or stuff, man. So that was
it's almost as if we didn't actually need it, but we
somehow
100%
came up with it. Man, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been plenty of places, like go to hotels and stuff, and if I had to buy a carton of milk for my coffee, I've just sat it out the window ledge because it's that cold. Does the same trick, to be fair, man. Other things like that, I know this one's going to sound daft, but a self-filling pen. That was back in the 1800s, so if you can imagine it's quills and ink, going for that to be able to just continue your writing without having to fucking dib-dab all the time, so that was quite good. Dib-dab, mate, dib-dab, right? Other ones, the Bank of England was originated from a Scottish person. It's really funny because the Royal Bank of Scotland is actually English, and the Bank of England was brought on by a Scottish person. Same with the Bank of France as well, it was another one. Shows you how much influence the British had back in those days, man. It was like 1800s.
Could you say Scottish?
Technically is, to be fair, man. Another one's Australian rules football. Didn't know this one. It was a Scottish person that basically came up with that idea.
Football's not fucking hard enough, let's do this shit.
I don't know if anybody that's watched Australian rules, I've only watched wee bits, it's basically like... So Australian rules football, for anybody who doesn't know about that, was brought on by a Scottish person, and it's like an amalgamation of like football, handball and rugby.
It's basically just a shite version of Gaelic football.
I never thought about that, actually. That's a very good point. I never crossed my mind. That is fucking pretty much the exact same concept, to be fair.
Gaelic football, hurley, things like that. Like, I never thought I'd ever enjoy watching them at all. And I was on holiday in Salou, and my uncle was there. He's Irish, and literally that was his thing. Like, he went to the pub every day to watch the hurley tournament that was on, and we just joined them, and it's fucking fantastic. I'd love to go and watch it live, but I mean, you'd have to pick your county to watch, though.
Yeah. I've seen it, though. I've not seen it live. What's hurley? What's that one again?
That's the one with the stick.
So it's basically like fucking, what do you call it?
It's like hockey. It's like Extreme Rules hockey.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Like they hit each other with stuff.
I was trying to think of lacrosse. That's what I was trying to think of, lacrosse.
But lacrosse is like a wee net thing that they get.
That's right, that's right.
This is genuinely like a stick that they have to like chip it up, hold it on the stick, flick it about.
I couldn't be trusted doing that, man. We used to do hockey when we were in school, and I wasn't terrible at it, don't get me wrong, but you know when you play football and you've not played in a wee while and you're trying to tackle something, you just kicking them by accident, man. That's like me with a fucking hockey stick trying to bat.
That's me.
You're looking at that off.
That's the thing, like that's hurley. They just hit you with a stick. They don't give a fuck, mate.
Could not fucking do it. Definitely no, man. So back to the Australian rules is definitely one that I think are interesting because just you never think of that, to be fair, but you've just gave me a concept. No, not a concept. You've gave me a complex on that one because never gave a thought about Gaelic football and how the similarities are on that, which is quite good. Gaelic football is a fucking confusing one, I know, man, because it is basically it's rugby and football at the same time. You can score in a net and you can put it at the back to get fucking points. I don't get it. I don't watch it.
I love watching it because you can either drop it, like you can hold the ball in your hands, drop it for a volley, which is how people used to practice their volleying. And you get, I think it's 3 points if you get it in the net, and it's 1 point if you kick it over. But see, if you look at the actual scores, it's like there's two separate sides for the scores. So you've got one for the goals that are scored, and you've got ones for the ones that go over the bar. I don't know what they're called, so
I have no idea. We could maybe come back to that, but
if you're running with the ball weight as well, it's like you have to take, I think it's like you can take 3 strides and you have to bounce the ball. And you see it whenever they're running, it's like they either bounce the ball or they punch it up in the air and catch it.
Right, okay,
And
fair play, man.
genuinely, like, I want to play Gaelic football.
I mean, it does sound quite interesting, but it's just not my
Fucking
cup of tea,
great, man.
But as you said, there'll be you with the Hurley, just watching random stuff on the telly, so like bowls. I know it's sort of boring, it's for old men,
Fucking
right?
bowls.
No, I know. But see, when you watch it, the technique and stuff, it's fucking incredible. Because obviously you're just rolling about a jack and that's it. And then the one closest to it gets it, you can either try and smash them away from under, but it's interesting. It's good
Fucking
watching.
balls.
They're very competitive, mate. They are. Telling you the now, man. Very competitive.
It's like that fucking episode of Tune the Fat, man.
It's on fucking Eurosport.
They fucking sacked me.
Something that I don't really watch it that often, to be fair. I like to play it. You go on holiday and stuff.
What you bought BT Sport for? I want to watch the balls tonight.
Eurosport, mate. It's not BT Sport. It's not that big, to be fair, man. It's not that big, but it's interesting. Definitely interesting.
Tonight on Eurosport.
Extreme balls with me, Gary.
Oh my god, man!
Don't knock it
when you
till
started
tried
saying
mate.
I thought you were talking about the bowling because
No.
watching the actual professional bowling is quite interesting.
No. It's the same when
They
you
get a
watch
strike every
professional
time.
players, but exactly, it's boring. There's no really. Well, I'm saying there's no competition. Obviously, there is because people are trying to get more strikes. But you're right, man. It's not my cup of tea. I'm shite at bowling and all. I'm not gonna lie. I think the last time I played bowling, I think I got a score about fucking 70 or 80, man. It was quite
mate, I fractured my finger last time I was playing bowling.
And the whole TV for
If you say so.
Oh, dear me, man.
My mate said to me, like, try doing like a wee bit of a twist. But I didn't know you're supposed to hold it under that. And obviously my fingers were in the hole. And I went like that and twisted, and my finger just went.
Oh, Fauci,
right
man. No, thank you very much.
Luckily, I'm double jointed, so it didn't break. It just sprained.
Mine's with a snapped half like a carrot, so it would have, man. It has been fucking gone.
That famous saying, snapped off like a carrot.
Off like a carrot.
Fuck hell.
I mean, see, to be fair, like...
Where do you get these from, man?
See your finger, like, technically you could bite your finger off if you wanted to. It's just your brain and your mind wouldn't let you actually do it. So
that's
they
not
do
the point
snap
I'm making,
very easily. So if you think snap my carrot would be the same as snap my finger.
Oh, okay. That wouldn't.
It would, I'm telling you now.
Okay, so if you were to put your finger out like that, and I got a carrot that literally just takes like that to break it.
What kind of fucking carrots do you buy?
Any fresh carrot you could break, no bother.
So exactly, you could do the same with your finger.
Oh, Wayne, fuck yourself, Stephen.
Right, I'll prove it wrong. You know, we'll come back to this one and I'll show you.
So
we'll even get a wee video
on our next record. Stephen's going to break his finger in front of everybody.
Snap it in two, and we'll see what breaks easier, my finger or the carrot.
Right, and I can't wait to be proven right.
We'll see.
Whenever you can't break your finger.
I mean, mentally, I wouldn't be able to do it myself, but
okay, well, Dean is our producer. His job next time round is to break Stephen's finger. But there we go. And that's a verbal agreement that we have there. So
for the next record, finger broken, remember splinting.
Aye. Yeah, so that's one of it. It's just it's
an idea. We're just floating stuff just to make it interesting. Obviously, if we're breaking live fingers on a podcast, it's going to get some views in it, man. We need to try and get the brand exposure a wee bit. So the last time you see this in one piece. Just see me, my new job, try to type. I didn't. I just put my hand in that.
Also, I didn't say it last time as well. I want to give a shout out to our mate. Just going to say Garth, I'm not going to put his full name out, for our new logo and design. We get that there for us, and he's also working on a few other things. So hopefully that's all good and in for this one. If not, we're still going to have some of the old stuff in, but hopefully that does move on a little bit as well. But hey ho.
Try to keep it fresh.
Yeah, pretty much. But you got any more interesting facts?
Nah, no, I think anything else that anybody ever knows. So, other daft ones I've got is like penicillin and radiation. I know they were quite obvious, obviously, for those ones.
Yeah, penicillin can kill me though. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it killed the person who was Marie Curie, isn't it? Marie Curie.
What?
Marie Curie. Radium. It was radiation. It was developed radiation. So
she didn't develop radiation. She discovered radium.
She discovered radium, and then obviously that then aided in curing cancer. Well, curing cancer because it is done for some people. Some people know. And then she died of the radiation. ironic, but obviously for the bigger
Take that
cause,
in
isn't it,
big
man?
quotation marks. Big quotation marks from Stephen. Because that is a bold claim that
What's a bold-
penicillin can fucking cure cancer.
No, I
For
never said
fuck's sake.
penicillin. Could I said radiation? I said penicillin came from Scotland and radiation.
The last
and
thing
radiation cures cancer.
No.
And then I said, well, it doesn't cure it; it makes it better. And in some cases, has cured
Radiotherapy
it.
can. Not radiation. Radiation. No, I'm not. I'm not.
Hold on. So what is radiotherapy? How do you use radiotherapy? What's involved?
I'm not
in
a fucking doctor, mate.
Radiation, you fanny. That's what radiotherapy is. It's radiation.
Hey, like, oh, you're grabbing words here, mate. You're fucking annoying me now. Like, no, no, I'm not fucking wearing this. Right. Anyway, moving on for this fucking daft fact.
Aye, so I don't really have anything else Scottish, to be fair, other than the fact that the US Navy was
Formed by a Scotsman.
And 23 out of however many US presidents there's been have Scottish or Scottish-Irish descent, which is quite cool. And again, I know the British done quite a lot in terms of commandeering other places, but certainly left unmarked with quite a lot.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true. But yeah, other than that, there's really much
apron
else.
and all that. But
What was that?
I said the butcher's apron and all that. That's not something to talk about on this.
Leave that for next time. Not.
Yep. Talking about serial killer? No. But yeah, I'd say we've covered quite a lot today. Mm-hmm. As I say, it's just really in terms of getting things together so that we can start to build on things. Now, obviously, this is sitting probably shorter stuff than now. We will start to expand as we start to add different things in, especially whenever it comes to the serial killers and things like that, and the other true crime stuff. So when we move on for that, if you've got any suggestions, anything that you want to talk about, don't forget to leave a comment.
Doesn't have to be true crime stuff either, to be fair. It can literally be anything at all, to be honest, man. Like, obviously, we just want to go down a route that's going to have you guys interested, so if there's anything else that you think could be interesting, then we're open to it. 100%, man.
And then on top of that, as I say, when we're moving towards stuff like the conspiracy theories and that, if there's anything that you can think of, tell us. And don't go for the obvious ones like fucking Bush did 9/11.
It has to be something that doesn't get spoke about enough, but has a lot of.
The Queen was a lizard.
I mean, technically she's immortal. She was just stepping down to try and take some of the limelight away from the royal mishaps, we could say, that have happened over the last fucking 10 years.
Yep.
Coming out the limelight and all that, man.
Exactly. I mean,
God rest her soul.
Fuck her. May she rot in hell. But anyway,
moving away from that. In the record, obviously. Even Marble will take it as well. But
I'll move away from that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so yeah, I'd say that we have done quite well. Considering we're just really firing things together just now, we are going to be getting this all built up in a little bit. But it's baby steps.
Got to start somewhere. And I think giving you guys a better idea of what route we're going down will definitely give a little bit more into what we're doing, because normally we just come on and record and then you just have to listen to what we're talking about. Obviously, that's the idea of a podcast, but at the same time, it means at least if you've got an idea.
We've had no structure before. That's the problem.
100%.
Now we've got more of a structure. We know what we're going to be talking about, and it is just going to be that. So see if you want to start that now, mate. Right. So we'll go with that, and it'll be, as we say, moving forward, we will be looking at other stuff. Now we're going to be doing our monthly sporting catch-up. That's going to be next week, and then it is just a case of taking it from there. We'll let you know what cases are coming up after that, and then again, it'll be like this, just a bit of a catch-up to let you know where we are with things and moving forward, so on and so forth. So Bob's your uncle, Fanny.
Absolutely. Just need to make sure you stay tuned. Appreciate you coming on today to have a wee listen to the shite that we've been talking so far. Hopefully it does interest you. There'll be a lot of different things changing over the next couple of weeks, as we've spoke about already. So we look forward to the comments. As we said, any feedback, I know we mentioned that a few times, but anything at all you want to put forward, definitely give us a shout, man. We'll take everything on board. We'll look forward to the next record. But again, just make sure you keep an eye on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. I'm still on TikTok.
You can follow us on TikTok. Fucking
not
going
much
on
happens on it, to be fair. Not much happens again. I think as things start to kick off and we get more structure in place, we might start using it a bit more often. I don't personally have it. Obviously, he's getting an account set up specifically for the podcast, so
that literally only follows Lewis Capaldi.
So, Lewis, if you're listening, I'm kidding, it's probably no, but make sure you get us out there, man.
I fucking love Lewis Capaldi, man.
I do myself, mate. I do myself, absolutely.
Lewis, can you hear
appreciate
me?
his listening anyway, guys. We'll speak to you next time.
That actually turned off at the same time.